that's the nicest thing anyone's ever told me before. You look like you've had a bit of a rough year, Ryan.
Were you defaulting the old way all the way up to now, or were you getting used to the new?
No, I use the new and the old depending on the purpose of me going into managed inventory. The thing I think I've found in the last year that I've really discovered is the fact how much TikTok influences Amazon, and based on that, how many new holes are appearing. I mean, high demand, low supply.
Oh, opportunities.
Well, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever told me before. You look like you've had a bit of a rough year, Ryan.
I only say that because I know you've got a little baby. All right, I understand.
I did have a rough time.
There we go. I've had a great year.
But you know what I want to hear is Michael, you look like you had a great night of sleep. Look at you. You're so suave and beautiful. That's what I want to hear, Ryan. I don't
Sorry,
want to
Michael. Sorry. I'll batter you up next time. Look how good you look, Michael.
You're messing with my feminine energy here, man. I want to feel beautiful, and I'm not feeling very beautiful right now.
So sorry. I will not do that again.
I actually disagree with Ryan. I think you look fabulous.
Thank you. See, Ian's got it. He knows the drill.
Your skin is nice and rosy. It's just, you look fresh.
Thank you.
It's me that doesn't look good since my laser treatment on my face, but it's. I woke up this morning and I've just coffee grinds. Look, do you guys see the coffee grinds?
Yeah.
They say it's normal.
Brutal.
Yeah. But was
it painful?
Yeah. But what you're gonna see in about 4 days is a new me. It'll all fall off and the inner beauty will come out.
Do you have to stay out of the sun?
Beauty. Yes. For a few days, yeah. Which is easy because it's basically raining every day.
The rain.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm over it. Over it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like my pool is about to overflow. I gotta like do a little empty out thing over here.
The rain is, when we were in Grenada, we spent the same season in Grenada before, and I was like, this is the most rain I've ever had in my life. But that's like almost on the equator. It's down in the tropics. I was like, I get it because it's coming through in bands, on the equator. Just that's what happens. But we're in Florida, like every single day, monstrous storms. Nah.
It's the tropics.
Yeah, kind of. We're almost out of the tropics. It's like a wannabe tropics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wannabe tropic. It's an imitator.
Yeah.
So any recent Amazon updates that are worth telling the audience? I think there's some small stuff, but I don't know of anything that's really been hugely significant since the last conversation.
I mean, besides Amazon forcing in the new managed inventory page, yesterday was the official unable to opt out of the new managed inventory. But you know what? I actually am getting used to the new managed inventory page. Like they've reprogrammed the whole thing, and there's much more cool shit on there. You can really be transparent and see your products and see what's going on and see your your sales. Because before you go to manage inventory, you can't tell the sales. It didn't give you any sales history. So you go in your products, you're like you don't even know which one was a good seller or bad seller. You see the BSR, but now on the new managed inventory page, you can really it gives you a lot of more data about each product or which ones, and you can sort it by highest sales products and the inventory for those if it's high, low. And there's some cons, like the way that a parent takes a little bit more work to see all of its children, but overall I think over the next month when everybody gets used to it, it'll be better. Otherwise,
were you defaulting the old way all the way up to now, or were you getting used to the new?
No, I use the new and the old depending on the purpose of me going into managed inventory.
Depending on what you wanted to see and why you're there. Yeah.
I liked the optionality because I would use the new for specific purposes and I would use the old for specific purposes. Now I'm stuck with the new, which is and I wish they gave me the option to show those old things that the old managed inventory would show.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
like even I like the drop down with the old children. Like you drop it down to the old children, and then now you have to go. But the problem is, I couldn't go to, like before. I couldn't go to a child, and I couldn't see the parent. I had to go and click on edit, and then see that it's a variation of this parent. And it was a lot of extra work to go find the parent to a child. But now, if I go on a child, I can see the parent right there. I know which parent it's connected to. So, you know, and but sometimes I need to see, you know, just so I guess technically overall it is better. Like it's a better system. It's easier, but again, it's just you're not used to it, you know. And so the not used to it gets frustrating because you need to use something really quick, and then you're want to go to the old and you can't, you know. So like, but so they force you to learn the new, and then you get better and better and better at using it and getting more organized.
Yeah, I think it's just insignificant change in a way, really, though. For like most people, it's kind of like, you know, it's just a place you had to go anyway. That you're just seeing a slightly different variation. Yeah, there's some cool data, but most people are using softwares like Cellarize or Helium 10. Most people are doing most of their day-to-day, I think, or reporting out of Seller Central. So whatever.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you use Seller Central for your reporting, you're fucking from 1992, you know, like that's old school. Seller Central does, even if you go to manage ads in Seller Central, you know, getting into, like, you have to click on each campaign, and inside the campaign, click on each ad group, and inside the ad group, then click on your keywords, and then now sort your keywords in different ways. Like, to find any dirtiness or overspend using Seller Central is virtually impossible. Like, it would take you a year just to sort through all that data. So you are forced to use a software program that can pre-sort all that data for you. Like, to just, like, if Seller Central had another tab just saying keywords, you know, like here's, and then broke down, and you could filter all of your campaign's keywords combined. If they've ever even thought about doing that, to like just bird's eye view all your keywords, all 8,000 of them or whatever, and sort the keywords in different ways, which that's what software program technically does. You pay $1,000 a month or whatever, you know, for a software program to do that, because Seller Central refuses to do it.
Yeah, there's a big gap there. But they make
It's
so
a
much
huge
money
gap.
everywhere else without the hassle of having to deal with that.
Yeah.
Is if they did do that, imagine how much money they would lose on ads from people overspending, because people would instantly, transparently see all the data in one dashboard, and then be able to go pause, down bid, just by sorting by ROAS or sorting by ACOS, sorting by spend.
Yeah. That's actually true. It's a trick. The trick.
Yeah. And they know that so many sellers don't do that or even log in regularly because it's so difficult to find the seller. So it is shady, the fact they're
So shady.
transparent. And then you have to buy. But the thing is, Amazon doesn't realize that people are just the professional sellers, which is most sellers have some kind of software to show all that data in one glance, at a bird's eye view. Like, I know I use XMARS. And you could also use Samurai Seller. Pretty much any Tegometrics and Quartile shows you bird's eye views of like that, you know. But again, you have to pay for those software programs. And Amazon could just build it in, but the thing is, I'm sure, I don't know, there's probably some other way. They're making more money on ads because they don't do that. There's probably a huge percentage of sellers that have no software that are trying to manage ads manually, which is insane. No one should ever try to manage ads with a campaign manager. It's nearly impossible. You can manage budgets in campaign manager, but that's about as far as that goes.
Yeah, there's a whole ecosystem of softwares that have built, you know, better tools than Amazon has, that are connected to Amazon's raw data, but just present it much more nice and much better KPIs. I don't think Amazon's ever going to catch up to them. They're just never going to catch up to them.
Yeah, well, it's not Amazon's sole focus, is their KPIs and their, the actual dashboard. They're usually probably this for sellers. Like, Amazon is not seller focused; they're customer focused. It's different.
Yeah, that's right.
And what's funny is, so Walmart is more seller focused than Amazon is. But And so like even their user friendliness of the Walmart is
That's so funny.
it's a little bit cleaner, nicer, more like user friendly, not so like intricate and complex. So like to the naked eye, to the new user, and all the new users of Walmart versus Seller Central I've talked to are like Walmart's much more friendly on the eyes, right? But Walmart's so much smaller, and obviously there's there's a lot of broken systems with Walmart, even though it looks better and looks cleaner and has better KPI data. But it's again, Walmart's is definitely trying to appeal and trying to appease the sellers, where Amazon is. They're trying, like Amazon definitely wants to make the seller's life a little easier in some ways. But otherwise, like you could tell even by the way they're not transparent with PPC on their dashboard, and they make you have to log into every campaign individually in order to make edits. They don't want you downbidding or finding the dirt.
No dirt allowed.
Yeah, no cleaning up our mess allowed in Amazon. But they might get maybe enough sellers will riot and they'll eventually do something about it. But in the
No, they won't.
Well, there could be some genius in the back end of the PPC department that's just like, we need to build a better dashboard for these guys. They're all complaining about it, you know?
Yeah, it's true. But you know, the boats as big as Amazon take a long time to turn.
Oh, 20 years. Yeah, I'm saying in 20 years from now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. This ain't going to happen next year. I'd be very surprised in the next 5 years if something rolled out with a new. I mean, they've had the same freaking PPC dashboard for 20 years, since 1999, with a few edits to it. But otherwise, Manage Inventory, by the way, was the same dashboard for 20 years or longer.
Wow.
The original core code for that dashboard was 20 years old.
Yeah.
They tweaked it. They made it a little better. They didn't. But the basic blueprint of the dashboard is 20 years old. The PPC
Crazy.
blueprint is 20 years old, with additions added onto it. So you're taking an old, decrepit, rusted, broken down house that's falling apart, and then you're putting some beautiful sinks in there and some beautiful showers. That's what they did.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no crazy new developments or anything. It's been fairly like quiet, I guess, in the Amazon world. And I think there's, what I think the biggest thing I think I've found in the last year that I've really discovered is the fact of how much TikTok influences Amazon. And based on that, how many new holes are appearing.
What do you mean by holes?
I mean high demand, low supply.
Oh, opportunities.
Yeah. So like, what happens is, and if you're really clever, if you can stay on top of trends on social media and be one of the first to market, when someone posts about an idea or some product or a problem, and then there's a product associated with it, but it's not available on Amazon, you'll see 67,000 searches in one day, right?
Yeah.
With nobody supplying that demand.
Yeah.
So if you were to solely make a company based on TikTok trends and supplying it on Amazon, it'd probably be within a year, and if you could fund it, a $200 million company. But the only problem is, how do you find the trends on TikTok? And what I discovered is, well, go on, Ryan. What would you say about finding the trends on TikTok?
I was going to say there's also a gap between once you found the trend to getting the product on Amazon, to getting a decent quality
Version.
product.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very easy to get some slapdash whatever and hope for the best, but to get something that you've seen, physically touched with your hands, used, a couple people have tested, packaged nicely, and then sent through to Amazon as a product. I mean, we all know how long that takes. It's 6 months.
Yeah, it is. No, there's one I'm working on right now that I've been on for 3 months now, and trying to get any sort of quality,
Exactly.
and reasonable
That's the
price.
problem. That's
And
the
by the
time.
time you launch it, are you past it? You know, it's like by the time you buy the stock, is the stock already peaked?
That's it.
depends who you are.
Not necessarily, because with all the trends I've seen, they go like this, but there's always a flow for months and months.
For sure.
Even the one I'm watching right now, that I'm trying to get supplied, with failing epically, getting it supplied, because all the vendors, by the way, internationally are sold out of the raw materials, because the trend has been ongoing for so long with no supply, not insufficient supply. There's some supply, but insufficient supply. So everybody, and they're trying to figure out how to make more, and of course, manufacturing has to. It's like, let's say, like COVID, right? All the hand sanitizers ran out. So all the manufacturers go to figure out how to make more hand sanitizer. And then they're out of alcohol, and then they're out of this and out of the... one of the ingredients for hand sanitizers was called Carbapol. Back in 2020, there was an international shortage of Carbapol, which is what makes the jelly-like substance in a hand sanitizer. So, basically the demand for Carbapol was high before that, but never that high. So all the manufacturers making Carbapol instantly maxed out overnight. Max capacity, they could not make enough Carbapol to supply all the demand of hand sanitizer. Internationally, so a lot of people went international, went to other countries that were making Carbapol. They also sold out. So there was an international shortage of Carbapol. So when you see one of these trends, it creates a TikTok trend. Is so powerful, it creates an international shortage of raw materials. It breaks it breaks manufacturers internationally. And what I is going to all the vendors that supply the raw materials, all of them would not even take my call. They said, we're booked, we are making this ingredient, we are already pre-sold for the next year and a half.
Yeah.
Right? So like, even if you wanted to get some of this, you would get it for a year and a half, because you have to wait in line of 50 people ahead of you,
So what's the secret? What's the secret to riding the trend on TikTok and producing the product on Amazon that nobody can find at the time that the trend is starting to peak with a decent product? How do we do that, Michael?
It's just like the stock market. You watch the indicators, you watch the engagement, you watch whatever, right? But there's truly no... That it is like a stock, right? Like, is the stock going to go crazy, or is it going to crash, right? So like, if you caught a trend early on before it became something, you see the first video for it, and the first video got 1.5 million views. Jump on it, right? Like, buy the product, start sourcing it, because in 3 months, people are going to stitch that video, and it's going to and the trend even takes a few months to build, by the way. A trend can happen also in 1 week, but it's more common that a trend happens in a few months, because there's more stitches, more videos, and the search volume builds over months. So you have a few months if you catch that first video that got 1.5 million views. And you know that if that video got over 1 million views, a trend is starting. So you got to find those videos where it hasn't, but even the hashtags and so forth.
But now, how do you get yourself into the position to be supplying the product? So that my thinking based on what you've been telling us is that you need to actually pre-select a niche. Like, that you're going to be supplements, broad, more specific, sports boosting supplements, and now you're going to sit and wait, and then you get everything lined up. Like, you've got a supplier. You've got certain ingredients ready, but you're not hitting the go button yet. And you've already had tests done back and forth to test. Okay, the ingredients are good. The packaging is good. Whatever I want, when I want it, can be manufactured within 2 weeks and shipped within 30 days. So now you've taken a 6-month lead time. You've done all the work beforehand, and you've got maybe a 45 to 60 day lead time with a very solid game plan. And you're watching that niche specifically for a trend. You piggyback on it and you go and you get in within 60 days of that. For me, that's the only way I can see you quite capitalizing on these things without, like, a dog hairbrush could be trending, and at the same time a special suntan bed, and at the same time a special supplement, that makes your skin pink. That might trend at one day, who the hell knows? Now, you can't jump on them all because you're going to be so dispersed. You need so much money. You're going to have so many duds coming to you from your suppliers.
3 to 5 a year is fine. I mean, again, you're going to be selling sometimes 3,000 units a day, right? So now remember that if you're having this problem, everyone else is.
Yeah.
It's the first thing to keep in mind. So if you are having trouble with supply, everyone else is. The trends in the keyword searches on Amazon do not die out in 1 month. They don't. I haven't never. Every trend I've spotted on something on TikTok, the Amazon trend is now a new thing. It's a new keyword search, and it does not die off. I haven't seen one die off. I've seen one lower, but I never see one die. So, for example, a trend 6 months ago, the peak of the keyword. I'm not going to give you guys this one because I'm working on it myself. But the peak of the keyword was 267,000 searches on Amazon a month. Not to mention Google searches had a lot, and there was searches everywhere for it. For shopping for these specific raw materials, ingredients, and there was about 5 products associated with it. Not just one, 5. You can get any one of the 5. That the trend started 6 months ago. The keyword volume died to 90,000 searches a month, and then another Stitch video came, rekindled the keyword search to 160,000 a month because people were still posting about it. People were still interacting with it and engaged with it 6 months after the trend started, because it's now just a trend. And it became, and then depending on let's say it's a fashion trend. Fashion is definitely more risky because it's going to be more short-lived. The season's going to change. It's going to be winter. No one's going to be posting about it anymore. So you have to use your judgment, right? Like, is this a temporary trend, or is it, if it's a food-based item, is it a supplement-based item? Is it a toy? Is it a home and decor item? And home and decor typically takes longer to change. The trend will change in basically 2 to 5 years. Sometimes a lot of people will say the home decor trend changes every 10 years. Like, it takes 10 years for the lag for the new fashion of home to come in, right? You remember the gray and black or gray trends, like gray kitchens, gray paint on the house, like gray floors, like super gray. You know that that trend is basically over now, but not over for everybody, because some people still are buying the gray shit. And a lot of stores are trying to liquidate all their gray tile and gray paint, and because it's like that, they know that the demand is dramatically less than 10 years ago, but it still took 10 years for people to get out of the gray.
So you're saying it's not too risky once you're in?
No, you have to just evaluate. If 3,000 people jump on the trend before you don't be the 3,000th guy. Fine. If everybody was super fast to market, it was a very easy item to acquire. Yeah, don't be the 3,000th guy selling it unless you're really good at selling, right? In general, like a pro seller. Even so, I'd say it's too risky. But if you're the 5th guy, if you're the 10th guy, even if you're the 50th guy, there's still there's so many searches that even being the 50th will do well.
Yeah, it's true. If you've got a huge trend like that, you can't own all the search. You can't sell all the product. It's just impossible. It's physically impossible.
If you're the first guy, you're not going to be able to supply the demand.
Yeah.
Also, I think the 5th guy is going to learn from the first 4, and the 10th is going to learn from the first 9. And,
it's okay to be the 5th, and sometimes it's beneficial to be the 5th because you learned all the negative reviews of the first, and saw he botched the product. He totally botched it.
Google wasn't the first search engine, that's for sure.
Like funny, yeah. So funny.
Facebook wasn't the first social network.
Yeah, it's true.
They learned a lot about what MySpace did wrong.
I'm still amazed that Facebook is still around in any form.
I am too, actually. I thought that, I don't know, when it came out, I remember thinking this will have its run, and I think the 2 reasons they're still around is groups.
Yeah,
that was a really smart move. And Instagram. Those were the 2 reasons or so.
That acquisition of Instagram for $1 billion made them.
Yeah, that was a good move.
And $billion seems so cheap now, doesn't it? $1 billion. It's like, nothing.
They also moved into a different audience.
$1 billion.
Yeah, they did.
They widened their demographic too.
Totally, because meta advertising, I mean, as you know, I do a lot of both. And, when we're looking at an older generation target market, it really works very well with the right type of ads.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not getting the guys 35 and below. You're just not getting those guys. Like, they just don't use meta. But 40 plus use Facebook. So, it really, for their whole business, that acquisition, it saved them. It's probably why they're still around, actually.
Yep. What about Instagram, Ryan? What are you finding is the demo over there?
So Instagram it's definitely a lot younger. It's definitely more trendy. It's not quite TikTok.
No, it's not as young as TikTok is 15.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's not quite TikTok.
17, 18.
It's trendy, and I don't think it has the same sales push either. You're gonna definitely make your moves on Meta. And I mean, if we're gonna get very technical about this, Meta, what it's really become is it's become a billboard. People are not getting click-through conversions on Meta very easily. But I can show you one for one, every client that I'm managing. Your Meta is a direct contribution to your income through Google and organic, because it's a view-through conversion. What that means is people view it and then they'll go to the website. Here's what Facebook did wrong: is they've created their own version of a browser when you click on their ads, because they got hammered by Apple. I don't know if you guys remember that iOS change.
Oh, of course. Huge.
Okay. So they got hammered so hard. What did they do to get around it? They made everybody, you'll notice it now that I've told you, go click on anything, an ad that you like. It'll open in a Meta browser. It's a Meta browser, so that they can still keep your data. Now, what happens when people click on it, go through all the steps, but they don't buy? Now they go to your on the real web, they go to your actual site. Your site is viewing it as organic. Or they search you on Google and they click on your Google ad. Your site's viewing last click from Google and attributing to Google. One for one, if I kill Meta ads, I'll crash your income, even though your website is showing me zero attribution or very little.
It's gonna.
So Meta created.
funnel.
Yeah, it created the interest. It's just kind of connecting the dots, which is the hard part, is what you're saying.
And that is what I've
You have
done.
the opportunity for the audience or the person to drop off because they go through extra steps going to a different browser.
That's
So,
right.
because the truth of it is, the Meta browser is very frustrating to work with because it doesn't have any of my data saved. It has no idea who I am. It doesn't have payment information saved like Google does. It doesn't have. I have to retype in my whole address. I have to retype in my whole credit card. I have Google Payments. It's just a huge pain in the ass. And
there's
for
a
anyone
trust
that's-
issue.
Yeah.
And there's
That
a
too.
trust issue, right? So, and that's like whenever I've done a purchase from a Meta ad, and I got to get this product, and I go and I click on it, and it goes to Meta browser. I'm like, exit, go to Google right away. It's my instinctual thing to do.
That's what I do too.
It's
And I'm sure if you
instinctual.
and I do that independently of this conversation today, how many other millions of people do that?
Right, and that's it's not that they didn't have a choice. The real thing they should have done, Meta, is partnered with Google on the browser.
Yeah, I don't see Google partnering with anyone. They've got the
No.
middle finger up. They've got their middle finger up everywhere. They own it.
They if they did that and they worked with Google on using Chrome as the default browser for Meta, that would have solved a lot of their problems.
Yeah, but they're also giving all their data away.
Yeah, it's true. And in the end, people will still buy ads. They don't get anything from the sale. Not like Amazon.
Yeah, the trick, it's become a lot trickier for an off of Amazon strategy to work because of attribution, because of all of these nuances that have been introduced due to privacy.
That's right.
But it's possible to still do, and you have to have the right person managing everything to connect all the dots for the clients so that the clients can understand, even though Shopify, WordPress, whatever it is not showing attribution. You've got third-party attribution tools to be able to scale effectively. And scaling effectively takes a funnel, which is Meta, Google, email, minimum. And when you've
So
got
wait,
all three of those.
if you do Google, there's a Meta to Amazon via like Pixelme, and it's still on an ad still uses the Meta browser, which means you have to re-log into your Amazon account from the Meta browser, unless you're already permanently logged in by chance to your Amazon Prime account, right?
Mm.
Is that the case? Like it doesn't take you to your Amazon app.
It should take you to your Amazon app.
It does.
It should take you to your Amazon app.
And you can say on the Meta ad, Amazon, right? We've got buy now on Amazon Prime, and then you click on the link and it should take you there.
Yeah, you've got an Amazon link that gets put in.
Which by default takes you to should take you to the app.
Should take you to the app.
Right, unless the link is built incorrectly or something to make you to force it a Google Chrome or Meta browser.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, so technically that means Meta to Amazon is going to be the best. I mean, it can't be 100% of the ROI or conversion tracking, but Meta to Amazon would be the best theoretically because it takes you that.
The problem is the attribution isn't there, so you're going to see zero.
But I thought using Pixelme.
Sure, using Pixelme. I'm just saying natively.
No, natively you're screwed, and we know that. But you have to use, and even if you use attribution links from Meta to Amazon directly, you have to go in and track every campaign and make sure that you have 1,600 attribution links with 1,600 parts of the campaign.
Let me give you some data on this. Let me give you some data on this because I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to this stuff. So, Google attribution efficiency is at about 70%. With regards to getting the data back, sucking it out of the API, attributing it correctly through any app, any third-party app. It's at about 70% efficiency. Meta is at about 20% efficiency with regards to the data. So even 20% of what you're seeing is correct, and it's not saying you're seeing incorrect stuff. We're only able to show you what has been verified, which is only 20% of the data.
Some basic data, but the conversion events that actually occur from Meta to Amazon is 20%. So if you actually got 100 sales, it'll only show 20 of the 100.
You got it.
So, but even so, Meta to a regular website, because of the Meta browser
and the attribution inefficiency. It's a combination of the two.
But because of that, what's the average percentage of tracking ability? Because you like you mentioned earlier, they're using the Meta browser, which means their payment information isn't saved. They're going to have to go to the Google Chrome browser.
So the reality is you cannot use the attribution in Meta completely and utterly to make decisions. That's the bottom line. It is
on no matter what circumstance, right? But do you know the percentage of Meta to a Shopify site, like on average? Because like obviously there's a lot of going to the browser.
It depends on your brand. It depends on your pixel. It depends on how long your ad account's been active for. There's a whole lot of things that come into play with regard to that attribution accuracy.
But no matter what, if 50% of the people are not using the Meta browser, that means you're only going to have 50% tracking.
Oh, that's a given.
Conversion.
That's a given. And I can tell you now, the minute
half, right? You'd say?
I'd say it's less than that. I'd say it's far less than that. And then even on that, you're suddenly getting a spike in organic conversions, and you're getting a lift in Google conversions. But that's not mapping out the funnel that started on Facebook.
So either way, it sounds like they're both super low, whether it's Shopify or Amazon with Pixelme, in terms of conversion tracking because of the Meta browser problem. But because you're going to the Amazon app, the conversion is more likely, which means it sounds like if someone has both a Shopify and Amazon account, it's technically smarter to use Amazon for the likelihood of a conversion as a top of funnel action.
It depends. It totally depends. And it's not that the conversion isn't accurate. What you're seeing is accurate, but it's only representing about 20% of the actual conversions. So that's
I'm tracking. With that.
That's the way to word it and look at it. And that's an inefficiency not placed on the software. That's an inefficiency placed on the origination point, which is the platform of Facebook. It's dirty data. It's very dirty at this point. So, you really need third-party tools. That's the outcome. And third-party tools are complex. They take a lot of time to install. Sometimes you need to use API calls to be able to completely track everything. But you need, once you've got it, and don't think that a tool like Triple Whale, just a plug and play, is like a super answer. Yes, it's a lot better than native reporting, but it's not completely perfect. So there are tons of sellers out there who are actually making a ton of money off of Facebook. They don't know it. They're underutilizing their spend on Facebook because they're not seeing a direct conversion. This having to eat on Friday because I spent my money on Monday is the worst position for any business to be in when it comes to marketing.
No, the way I did it on my previous company is I just attributed it to tacos, right? Attributed Facebook ads, Google ads, Amazon ads, all as part of the tacos, right? So if I started advertising on Facebook.
That'll work on Amazon. That'll work on Amazon.
Well, no, so now it's opposed to tacos for Amazon. It's tacos for the business as a whole, right? What was my total sales? Amazon, Shopify, freaking Walmart, eBay, Etsy. I don't care. What are my total sales for the entire company on e-commerce? How much did I spend on ads? Right, in total on every platform combined, and I spent 15% on all my ads, and now let's say you start advertising on Facebook and you go, okay, let's include that spend. First month, let's say you go to 18% on ads. Third month, you're now at 12% on ads, and your income's higher. You're like, clearly this additional program I add on Meta work, right?
Yeah.
So total advertising cost of sales is a percentage of your gross sales for your company, and then total advertising in general. And then you'll get a clear picture of what you added on that's working or not.
That's the way to do it. There is no other way. To sit and analyze an on-platform attribution, which is not reliable, is not going to give you results that you want.
Yeah, which a lot of people, based on like how they did it back in the day with ACOS and ROAS management, you got those old timers in there, using those strategies and all of the masterminds and talks about that. And that was before the iOS 14 update. So, and yes,
it was better than.
Oh yeah. Oh, I used to advertise like crazy. I would spend $5,000 a day sometimes on Meta, and sometimes 10. So, and yeah, sure, that worked, right? It's kind of like also running supplement account based on CPC back in the day, because CPCs were only $1.80 for supplements, like 2016, 2018. Now CPCs are $4 to $5, so you can't run an account today on Amazon ACOS or ROAS based. It's tacos based, right? It's because ads for Amazon are more top of funnel than they are just like Meta. Amazon's going the same direction. It's top of funnel because the organic ranking picks up as you advertising and conversions on ads on Amazon. So, but people are like, I want my ROAS. I'm like, your supplements are a 1.2 ROAS, dude, on supplements. That's how it works. But you can perform at a 1 ROAS on Amazon and decrease your tacos.
Yeah.
Because your organic sales increase based on your outperforming and you're being more aggressive over time, over a 3-month span.
Right.
It's the same. It's all the same shit. So and I think as the generation of older Amazon sellers clears out in the next 30 years, we'll have those people understand that it's a percentage based of your total
which will be
sales.
you, and all of us are old, so we're in 30 years we're the ones that are going to be going away, and
so
we'll be cleared out.
And Michael,
we'll
your 6-week-old daughter is going to be like, Dad, you're such an idiot. Here's how things happen now.
But at least my thought process and my legacies will be left behind.
We're gonna be pounding at the table like, remember when CPCs were only $6? Yeah,
And they're like, Dad, CPCs are like $39. What are you talking about? $6?
Crazy.
All right, guys. Well, that's a very informative episode, and thanks for everyone for tuning in to by far the most watched and viewed podcast on the subject of Amazon, hosted by Ryan, Michael, and Ian. I don't know if there's anybody even close to us in that metric. So, congratulations, guys, for being number one. Okay.
Thank
I
you.
don't know. I'm looking at Michael's
Number
face.
one.
Did he get my joke? He's like, hold on. He's like, we're number one?
I missed
We're
that.
number one?
You caught me off guard.
Yeah, exactly. And you didn't get to sleep last night, so I forgive you. But okay, guys.
My lag.
Over and out. Thanks for your insight on Facebook, and whoever's listening, please actually write a review on Apple Podcasts. We are getting traction, but we need some reviews. We'd appreciate it. And if the review's under 4 stars, please don't write a review. Only 4 or 5, please. If you really hate us, why don't you just tell us? Just send me an email, say I hate you. You don't have to write a review. So I do have a caveat there.
And make
All right,
sure
everybody.
you hit the subscribe button.
Yeah. All right, over and out. Bye,
You
guys.
guys.